First will be the roll call of commissioners. Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Diaz,
Here.
Commissioner Cuminato.
We lost him.
He's still locked in.
He's in there. No video.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. We do have a quorum. At this time, please observe a moment of silence for retired police captain John Formicello, who passed away Saturday, June 4th. Also, if we can observe a moment of silence for retired police officer Dominic Mondalfo, who passed away Saturday, June 10th. May they rest in peace. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the regular board meeting, which was held Tuesday, May 17th.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, those minutes are accepted. And right on to reports. First is the Chief of Police. Chief, how are you this evening?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, just thanks.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
I just want to give you a update on where our recruits stand. Last month, we spoke about having the recruits go over to the museum in Stratford, and they actually went over today. I spoke with the lieutenant. He said it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he described it as being an eye opener. Said it was a whole wealth of information that was provided to them. They were able to experience it firsthand. It was very beneficial. As a matter of fact, in his conversation with POST, which is the Police Officer Standards and Training Council, they asked for feedback from the lieutenant in the class, because they may start adding that to their curriculum as well, which I think is very positive, which is exactly what we wanted to see, and have our officers be able to experience other things involving our community and the people within our community. So that was very positive. On another note, the second half of that, because we utilized it as a class, as a new class that's mandated, they weren't sure what to put under that category. So the visit to the museum was one part. And then the Juneteenth parade, we had the recruits at our Juneteenth parade interacting with the community, and just being able to speak with people and being able to see how the people in Bridgeport are, and just get a good feel for our community and interact. And they were so well received. They were so happy to be there on a weekend. It was actually a day that they're technically not scheduled to work. They were all there and they were very happy, and people were taking pictures with them. It was very good to see. I love the interaction. So the graduation is scheduled for the first week in August. Their last big event with our community prior to graduation will be the National Night Out, which is August 2nd. And then they will be, they're scheduled to graduate that week. On the flip side, we are planning to have an additional academy class start July 25th. That class we're looking to host for 5 months longer days. It'll be hybrid. It'll be a hybrid schedule. It'll be longer days. We're trying to get them graduated in 5 months. Then they go through the 13 weeks, up to 13 weeks of field training, and we can get them out sooner. So we are looking forward to that as well. We are starting our recruitment kickoff. We've already started conducting some of the officer interviews. Why Bridgeport? Trying to engage people in taking the tests and explaining to them that we're still very proud to be here in the city of Bridgeport as law enforcement. And I can say that hands down, 30 years later, it'll be 31 years this year that I'm still proud to be a member of the Bridgeport Police Department. The campaign should be kicking off in July to announce the tests, and the application will be on the policeapp.com. The applications will be there. Anybody can apply online. We have our training academy staff that will be conducting several fitness requirement sessions, which will be exactly what CHIPS does. And just to make sure that we are able to offer that to people within our community, just to get them prepared for being able to take the agility portion of the examination. So as we all know, the campaign is much needed as our numbers have gone down, but that is not a Bridgeport concern, is a nationwide concern, not only for our city, but nationally. Every article that you can pick up, I just saw an article in New York Times regarding the shortage that they're experiencing as well. You know, unfortunately, some area departments have seen that we train our officers to the highest, and we take pride in that. And, you know, we've had other departments give them better offers. So we've had quite a few of our officers resign and transition to other departments, though we've had several that have opted to come back as well. I should have started off by saying I thank Lieutenant Cotto for putting on another hat and taking the clerk's office under his purview. He has been working diligently and relentlessly on doing that. We will also be having a vacancy in the sick and injured management due to a retirement soon, and we're looking to fill that position as well. So some of the things that I wanted to share with you all as well is what Bridgeport has been doing in being able to expand its technology, being able to expand our resources to help us with investigations. Our Detective Bureau has been doing an amazing job with clearance of homicides, etc. But some of the things that I think you all should know is that we have acquired a NIBIN machine, which helps us with shooting incidents. We have applied for a grant for a DNA kiosk. We have acquired stop sticks, bowler wraps, which help us with parties that have mental disabilities and trying to prevent harm to them or injury if they're being taken into custody. We will be in compliance with our body and dash cams requirement based on the police accountability factor, which goes into effect as of July 1st. Everyone in the department, every sworn member of the department will have to have a body cam, and we are at that point. We are in compliance. We are also scheduling for upcoming summer events. We know that the Barnum Festival Parade will be taking place this Sunday. Starts at 11 o'clock. It starts at a new route. It will be starting at John and Park and down to the park, and then the fireworks on that evening. We also have the City Fest that's going on in late July, and we also have Sound on Sound that's happening in August. So in spite of everything that is going on in our increase for our need for manpower, public safety is not being compromised. We are doing everything in our power. We've sat at the table. We've come up with different ideas to make sure that we cover every angle, that we're making sure that all the sectors are covered as well. And one last thing I want to share are the numbers relative in comparison this year to last year. We do have 11 homicides this year. There were 7 at the same time this year. And there was also an uptick in the rapes. However, there is a decline in robberies, felony assaults, burglaries, felony larcenies, and motor vehicle theft. So we are at a negative 28.56% decline in crime. And I have to tell you that that is based on the hard work and the diligent efforts of the men and women of the Bridgeport Police Department. There have been certain things that we do want to address more specifically, some of the quality of life, some of the quality of life issues that we know are important to our community, and we will be addressing that. We have had some sit downs with several of our community members and some of our representatives, and it is our goal to make sure that we continue to keep the city safe. And on that note, that's all I have, but I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome, sir.
Any of the commissioners have a question for the chief? Oh, okay, thank you. Chief, would you mind staying on the meeting for a little bit? We have some folks from the East End that have asked to address the board. So if you're with us, we'd appreciate that.
Sure.
I don't see anybody from the union present for a union report. And before we go into executive session for internal affairs, I'd like to go out of order since we do have some folks with us that requested to address the board. We have, I see Anita Martinez is here, Ralph Ford. I thought I just saw State Representative Baker on the call, but I'd like to turn it over. I know, Nada, I know you were instrumental in setting this up. Would you like to start?
We can, I'll let the district leader go ahead. We're all here together. We're actually in our NRZ meeting, so we stepped out of the
Oh,
NRZ
okay.
meeting. Go ahead, Doc.
Thank you very much.
There's Representative Baker. Anita, besides you and Dr. Ford, is there anybody else with us?
Ernie's down council meeting. We council tonight.
Okay, all right. Dr. Ford, if you'd like to lead off, please do.
Yes, thank you very much, Commissioner and Commissioners, for allowing us to address this very important issue, and which are several in the East End, and these are not new issues per se. There are 2 major issues currently that are a real problem for the neighborhood. One, obviously, is the crime, particularly around spots like Union and Stratford Avenue, Connecticut Avenue, some of the outer streets. And that's a major concern because the summer is coming up and we don't want a repeat of what we had last year, where we had the Little League and the daycare center operating in the park and people were shooting guns, and it created a very dangerous situation for our youth. The other issue that has really become a major problem is all these tractor trailers that are parked in the East End. Now, I don't know if any other neighborhood has this problem, but it is a very serious problem here. And people have called, made complaints time and time again about these tractor trailers parking not only just overnight, but for weeks, and some of them there for months on our streets. And you know as well as I do that most of the streets outside of the major thoroughfare are fairly narrow streets in the East End. And when you have those tractor trailers or trailers that are unhooked or unhinged, in the streets, it makes it very difficult for cars to pass. I go Barnum Avenue, up Ridgefield Avenue to get to Hill or to Claremont, and there's always a tractor trailer parked on Ridgefield, and you have to go almost over into the other lane just to get by. So I'm not sure what the police policy is in terms of dealing with this. It's an issue that seriously affects our neighborhood, affects the quality of life of our neighborhood. And it is something that we have to address, and we have to do it immediately.
Okay, hey, Doctor, and we had this issue before, recently in the West End, where tractor trailers were parked on Commerce Drive as well as State Street. There was a stretch there, and as I understood it, that problem was pretty much taken care of. My fear, just hearing you, is that they packed up shop in one side of town and went to the other side of town.
Basically, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I know the chief is present, and you know, we'll do what we do on our end also to pass it along and get that addressed.
So explain to me, so I'll able to explain to neighbors, because I get the calls and the other representatives here get the calls. You know, what should they do when, you know, we have a lady on I think it's Davenport Street. She's handicapped, and you know, she's got this tractor trailer parked in the house, and she can't park in front of her house. She has to walk, and she has difficulty, and she's called, and we've called, and you know, we can't get anybody to respond. So what is the process? What should people do? And what can we expect from either the police department, the city, or whoever?
Chief or Lieutenant, would you mind taking a quick moment to answer that question?
So, yes, thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Ford. What I would recommend, because we've had the details done on the west side and actually throughout different parts of the city. And it seems like exactly what Mr. Roach was saying is the displacement. So they go from one side to the other. I would recommend that they definitely call it into our EOC, Emergency Operations Center or Dispatch Center, because that way we can gauge when we're looking at some of the hotspots or some of the issues that are concerning our community, and then we're able to address it differently. On time and time again, we have sent patrol cars out to the East End, the West End, and parts of, let's say, Housatonic Avenue. There is something in the statute about times as well. They're allowed to park at a certain time. That's why I'm saying if you would have the persons in the East End call and have it documented, and even, you know, if you have someone that's handicapped that can't get through, they should be able to move freely within the area that they live. And that's what they need to explain to our dispatching center so that an officer can be sent out immediately. So I would say definitely have them call, document it so that we can address it. And then I can have the traffic division come out and do an overnight detail and address your concern, sir.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Of course, sir. No worries.
Chief, this is Representative Andre Baker.
How are you, sir?
How you doing? Thank you for being on the call. You know, I've done just that. I've made phone calls on numerous occasions and stuff. And I've had an incident when on Connecticut Avenue was a tractor trailer truck, and it was been there for quite a while. I've called several times. And, you know, and what happened was I happened to live on the side street, Baldwin Street. I pulled out one day because I couldn't really see, and I had to go into the other lane, and a police car almost hit me. So, you know, he rolling down the window and he's saying, "Watch where you're going." And I'm telling them the tractor trailer truck. And I said, "Well, you need to give it a ticket." He said, "It's not my responsibility." And they just pulled off. You know, I didn't even, you know, that's what happened. And so it seems like it just, you know, it's the attitude that it's not their responsibility when we call up and we try to report these things, because it changes the quality of life in the East End is horrible when you have all these tractor trailer trucks and you can barely see when you're pulling out on these side streets. And it's causing accidents. You know, so I don't know how you want to address that in terms of you know, the policies and what should be done. And when we do make these calls, and how many actual calls need to be done.
Right. Well, I apologize that was the response that you got, sir, because it's all of our responsibility. It's not just one person or one division's responsibility. Obviously, it's an area of concern is a quality of life. There are, like I said, in the code of ordinances, there are certain times that is prohibited, and that would be from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. But what I can do, as we have done over on the west side, we can have our traffic division come in and do a special detail and maybe send out the message that is not allowed on the west side, it's not allowed on the east side, east end, nor the north end, because that was some of the concerns that were expressed in the north end as well. So I will make note of that, and I will discuss with our traffic division. They have been working the downtown detail regarding parking and things of that nature. But when are the days, are there specific days of the week and or times that you're seeing this more often, sir?
Every day.
7 days a week,
Every day. every
24
day.
hours.
7 days, okay, so you're telling me that they're not moving at all?
No,
Not a question of them just parking there for the weekend or anything like that. You know, but that was the issue we had over in the West End as well.
No,
I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but folks that are speaking, if it's possible, if you can turn your video on, we'd appreciate it. The meeting is being recorded, so just makes things a little bit easier, if you can.
Okay.
Thanks.
Got it?
you just want to see our beauty.
Why not?
Okay.
So, tell me specifically, what is the area that you're most concerned with at this time on the east end? I heard Connecticut Avenue, but Connecticut in what?
Connecticut and Florence, Chief.
Okay,
Connecticut and Waterman.
Yeah.
Connecticut and Waterman.
mhm,
We have
You
Bruce
mentioned
Boulevard,
Union Avenue as well?
Union Avenue.
Yeah.
We have Bruce Boulevard,
Davenport Street.
Davenport
Good.
Street, Seaview and Williston,
So you-
Union,
Yeah,
yeah.
Union.
Seaview, Beardsley Street, Eagle Street.
where, do we
L
know if the parties that reside or live in this area are driving these tractor trailers, or are they just getting dropped off and then coming back, they're coming back to them in the morning time?
They're just being dropped off. Some of them don't even move for like a whole week at a time.
Okay,
And as a matter of fact, Davenport Street, I went down to myself when I got the complaint. There was one truck didn't even have a license plate on it. Another one had, no, it was two that didn't have license plates.
okay.
They're parked on Davenport Street.
Okay, I'll get on this. I'll send out an email tonight, have them go check the area and then see what we can do to establish a detail. Now all of them will be moved, right? Because they can see us on YouTube. But no, we will definitely address that for sure.
I know there's not a lot of people that there's not anybody live on the street, but if you come off of exit 28 and go down Bass Pro Drive and turn on Waterview, it's nothing but tractor trail after tractor trail after trail. You can't even see the stop sign
Oh, yeah.
that's there. And if they're parked on Waterview, you can't see around the block if you're making a turn left or right.
Okay, well, we'll have someone check it. I know that every time we do get emails, we send it to the area captains. I have a command staff meeting tomorrow. I will address it with them as well. And I will discuss this with traffic division as well. Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
On Waterman, on Connecticut and Waterman, I know there's two people who live on our street that drive the trucks and they park there.
Do they know they can't park there? Or they shouldn't park there?
I don't know if they know, but I know they park there. Like when they come home, they leave the trucks there, so I don't know if they know. So maybe they need some enlightenment on that.
Well, tickets could be issued for overnight parking.
Yeah.
I think you hit them
Yeah.
in their pocketbook a little bit and they might wake up.
Absolutely.
The other issue, Chief, is that when they park for a long period of time, it's starting to cave the street.
Yep.
So what's happening is if you drive by Florence yourself,
Mhm.
off of Stratford Avenue, take a left on Florence, you'll see where there's a long-standing tractor trailer that parks there, and you'll see the big caving in the street. Raydell and Bruce Boulevard, where they also park, you'll see the caving on the street over there for the period of times that they're sitting, the trucks are just sitting there. So it's not just it's obstructing the view for oncoming traffic. Outgoing, pulling out of Florence is very dangerous. And it's also ruining the streets where paving isn't gonna do those streets any good. Those streets have to be dug up and leveled out for paving. That's the damages that's going on the east end as well with these trucks. But while I'm on, we're not gonna focus on the trucks because I'm assuming that you have it. I just wanna address, along with what Dr. Ford addressed, which was the quality of life on Stratford Avenue. It has just gotten out of control at the corner store with the activities. And I know that during the day shift, we have Officer Blackwell, Mark Blackwell on the east end that keeps pretty good control of the kids out there. And now that school is out, that's gonna be like a circus over there with the hanging out. And he's been doing pretty good. 6th Street is out of control, although they removed one tenant from one unit. Another tenant has taken over on another unit, so the drug activity continues there. We have over on East Avenue, Willow, Barnum Avenue, that's an issue over there with the businesses constantly complaining to us, especially Frankie's Diner. He has a lot of issues over there, a lot of loitering, a lot of soliciting. And it's bad for him because he's losing a lot of business with the soliciting of individuals that are just around the property, hanging out and just causing a disturbance to his customers that go into Frankie's Diner. So those issues are very concerning. What I will tell you, Chief, and this is no reflection of you because it doesn't reflect you, but the rookie officers that they assign to the East End do us no good. They don't want to get out of their vehicles. They don't want to patrol these streets. They don't want to pull to the corner of Stratford and Union. It's nothing like your officers that you have that have been out in these streets, have beat these streets for quite some years. So assigning them to the East End is really not benefiting us. We need some officers in the community that can relate to these issues in the community, that can get out of their vehicles and handle issues within the community, especially now that it's getting hot. We're going to need officers down at Newfield that do not have a problem with getting out of their vehicles, walking. We have a lot of activities planned down at Newfield Park that we're going to rely on the police department. We rely on the police department. Without you all, we can't. There's no function over here because if things happen, who's going to help us? The police are the only ones that help us. So it's just a lot. And I think that when we have these type of officers that not all, some just don't care, please don't assign them to the East End. And it's not you again per se, but the captains, the lieutenants, whoever assigns them. They're not benefiting us. In order for us to keep the crime down, we need to do better with, officers that are going to engage with our community. So thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
taking the time to stay on and listening to our issues because it's really getting out of control on the East End. And I wouldn't reach out to you guys if it wasn't really at that point. So thank you.
Thank you. I will tell you that we do have 2 officers, Green 36 on the C shift. You have Officer Riley, Officer Albani, that have been really engaging with the community. They know quite a few people out there. Their intent and their goal is to make it better. I have talked to them and they have talked to several people out there. And if obviously if there's a concern, then obviously we want to hear that. But that's one of the reasons why we're doing such an open extra curriculum with them at the academy so that they get to know our community, that they know how to engage with our community. And I say our community because that's exactly what it is, our community. That's what we represent, and that's what we signed up to protect and serve, as cliche as that might sound. But thank you for your concerns. I have noted them. I will be discussing them with my command staff meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And I will also be sending out an email to address the concerns about the parking of the trailers on the east end of Bridgeport.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. We appreciate it. Thank you
No,
very much.
thank
Enjoy the
you.
rest of your night, guys.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you staying on the call. We're going to go into executive session. I'll entertain a motion for that purpose to hear the report from Internal Affairs. And there's also a minor personnel issue I'd like to bring up in executive session as well. So with that, I entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Commissioner Roach, you don't need me any longer?
No, Chief, thank you very much.
Okay. Have a
Thanks for
great
staying
night.
on. You're
Good night.
extremely helpful. Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I so move.
There's a motion from Commissioner Williams. Is there a second? Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay. Lieutenant Cotto, let us know when we're good to go.
Yeah, she's working on it right now.
Yep. Good.
Hey, Commissioner. Commissioner Kumunaro, can you hear me?
Ah.
It's just us.
Yeah, Terry, I just saw Commissioner Kuminato, but now I don't see him.
Call him. He's calling me.
Maybe he's in the room now.
Where are you guys? The timing would have been like perfect because we came back and saw him and then boom, he's gone.
He's gone. Mhm.
Excuse me. How was business, Hector?
So far, so good. And a lot of, it's, you know, we don't have a lot of cars, but they're
Nobody
selling.
does.
But they are selling. We got some nice off brands. I've got a couple of Range Rovers, a nice Mercedes, the big truck, the GLE.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then we got something else that we have a GS coming in, a nice GS, 18 GS. It's gonna be nice. Those are real nice all-wheel drive. That's the car.
Oh, I was asking you, I don't know, maybe 2 months back, what you had in stock, and ended up buying Mercedes, and pricing the used ones. It was
crazy, right?
Yeah, it just, a car 2 years old was only a few $1,000s difference. So we bit the bullet and bought a new one.
Makes sense.
A GLB, which is a little smaller than what my wife had before.
Nice.
But so far, so good with it.
It's new. You can't go, you got.
The warranty and all the other jazz. And like I said, it's the other ones we were looking at were loaded. So it was only like a $4,000 or $5,000 difference. And all the bells and whistles, that I would never use in a million years anyway.
Mercedes, I think you can sit in that car and say you're cold, and it'll heat up that one section wherever you are.
Yeah.
I'll say the same, but that one section will heat up. It's different.
Yeah, we have that. I get to talk to the car.
It's one of the most advanced in that.
Yeah.
The tech is more advanced than anybody else.
I just I can change the radio station by voice and that kind of jazz,
That's good.
I might give Ed Farrell a call. Lieutenant, are you still there?
I am. We're almost there, sir.
Oh, okay. All right.
So sorry. That's okay.
I was going to give Ed Farrell a call, but looks like we might be okay.
That's good. Yeah, sometimes with the buying, like right now, I've got a few 22s that we're selling that were loaner cars. And they're a couple of thousand less than what the new car costs. When you look at the warranty on a certified pre-owned, the warranty ends up being better than a new car. A new car, I think, is 48,000 miles and 48,000 miles in 5 years or 4 years, and that's with the certified, you get an extra 2 years and unlimited miles.
Wow!
So now you're looking at 6 years. If you got a 21 or a 22, you got 5 or 6 years. It's a good warranty.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That makes up the difference. But it's true, the numbers have increased so much, and we still give people a full tank of gas. A lot of people are not doing that either in pre-owned. Yeah. On the pre-owned anyways. It's funny, I'm watching the guys fish outside while we go through our meeting, and they just have a great time out there.
They get much down there, high tide?
They catch, man. I come out of the house. I'm not a fisher. I never fished in my life, but I come out the house sometimes and my guys, they catch fish. They enjoy it.
Hmm.
They don't make a lot of noise. They look like they're professors. Their poles don't look like, like cheap things. They look like they're pretty good. There's one guy that comes, he'll set up 2 or 3 poles and then he'll sit back and watch.
That's kind of neat. I don't know what they're getting. When I was a kid, I grew up around the corner from you, and Burr Creek we used to go and at low tide, and all the horseshoe crabs would be hanging around.
Right.
And now it's they're endangered, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you don't even see them that much.
No.
That's great. So this is nice. They got some guys that moved in up the block now that come. And I guess they do the small little kneeling boat, not a canoe, but like a canoe. I don't know what you call it, but you kneel in it and they come down, they carry them down and they get in the water and I said, that's great,
No, that's neat.
That's great. We had a deer in the backyard the other day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's almost hard to believe you're in Bridgeport sometimes. You see deer, rabbits.
Oh, I know. I get them by my house a lot. Usually
Yeah.
once or twice a year.
They'll cross right through.
Yeah, they get cut through everybody's backyard and. Geez. Remember on Hackley Street, we used to get pheasants and all kinds of activity.
Yeah, we have
Wild
birds.
turkeys and.
We get them over here, and there's an osprey's perch right here in my corner.
Yeah,
So that you go out there, it's a big bird. Go to look at it on there. But it's nice. It's nice. I haven't heard anybody complain about living over here.
No, you got a nice quiet street there.
Yeah, this is nice
Yeah.
over here.
I'm gonna try Tom Lyons too.
Okay.
Okay, you're back in.
There you go.
No.
Okay.
Matt, welcome back, Matt.
So I can hang up the phone now?
Yep.
Thank
You
you.
got it. Anytime.
Okay, we're good. I just spoke with Tom Lyons. He just got in from
Okay.
his engagement this evening, so
Okay, let go
he-
for 1 second.
he may jump on as well.
Okay.
All right.
You should be on now. Oh, okay. Let go.
Okay, we're back in regular session here.
It's on mute. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Thanks, Ann.
Thanks,
I
Maddie.
don't know if they can hear you or not.
Thanks, Andy.
We'll have to see.
I got a square here with nothing in here. I see you though.
Maddie, if you're ready, we're going to move forward. The next item on the agenda, getting
What do you
back,
know, man?
okay, is the clerk's report, status of pending matters. As the commissioners know, Lieutenant Cotto has stepped in and taken over, among his other responsibilities, the responsibilities of the clerk office as well.
Yeah, you there?
No, he's not.
And Lieutenant, I'm gonna turn it over to you. If you can kind of give us a little intro, and we'll talk a little bit about the pending matters that we brought up in executive session.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I think everyone here knows me. Lieutenant Manuel Cotto. I've been a police officer for 24 years. I worked out of chief's office for 5 years. I assist the chief with day-to-day functions. I do the other side of discipline, the chief's side of discipline. So I am familiar with the hearings and the procedure. I worked in internal affairs for 4 years, so I have attended Barrow's hearings, which should work in my favor. I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this,
It's on mute.
but I will do my best. And like I said in executive session, you're not going to offend me if you have to tell me more than once. I'm doing this in addition to my regular responsibilities. I look forward to interacting with each and every one of you. I think everyone has my cell phone. If anyone has any questions, they can ask me now or email me or call me on my regular phone. But look forward to working with each and every one of you. So thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for stepping up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we talked about, and Maddie, we're going to determine what's left in the hopper as far as disciplinary cases that we need to hear. I'm meeting with the lieutenant already on Friday on another matter, and we'll try to get that sorted out and take it from there. Unless you have anything else, Lieutenant, I'll go on to the next item.
No, sir. Thanks for having me.
Okay, great. And next item is a request from Lieutenant Cotto for approval of department policies 5.24 body cameras and 5.18 dash cameras. All right, Lieutenant, put on your other hat.
All right, let me switch hats.
Yep.
All right, so both of these policies we've already had implemented. Our body cam and dash cam policies are about 4 years old, and they serve their purpose. Within the last 4 years, new things came up, some legislation proposed, and certain concerns. As you know, we were learning on the fly as we were going along. Some of those concerns were starting July 1st, police accountability. Our plainclothes officers, our task force officers, and some of our undercovers are going to be assigned body cameras. So we had to create some rules with guidelines to protect our undercovers, to protect their identities, and to assist them with their day-to-day. So one of the things that we did was we gave responsibility to the supervisor to determine if they're not going to wear their cameras, or if they're going to wear their cameras. It's not going to be for every incident, but if they're going out and they're going to do undercover work, obviously, you know, a body camera would defeat the purpose of undercover work. So we did give that responsibility to the supervisor. There were some concerns regarding the hospitals. Unfortunately, we couldn't change too much. And the last difference was we put some of the police accountability language in there. Other than that, it's pretty close to the old policy. We didn't change anything procedure-wise. We just addressed a couple of concerns. And unfortunately, you know, any changes to our policies do have to trigger a policy update and approval by the board. Unfortunately, I didn't highlight the changes because a lot of the paragraphs were reworded just to read a little bit better, even though they say the same thing. So, you know, we did listen to some input, you know, from some of the officers who, you know, they would complain about something maybe hard to read or hard to interpret. And we worked a couple of the paragraphs around just to make it easier for most people to read. But other than that, it's really close to the old policy.
Basically what you're saying, it was just a change in the language a little bit to make things a little bit easier.
Yes, so Sergeant Taylor is actually hosting, she's in the body cam unit. And when they were doing the annual training, they started soliciting feedback on the policy, which was great. And based on some of that feedback, you know, we worked a couple paragraphs so that they could be more easier interpreted.
Okay.
Dan,
Yes, Matt.
I think his volume's down on his computer.
this is what, is this the minutes?
I'm sorry, what do you want to know?
All five is like,
'em?
Hey, Tom, just bear with us for a second.
We can keep going, he didn't pick up.
Okay, all right, very good. For the record, Lieutenant Commissioner Lyons is here with us. If we can add him to the roll.
Sir.
Present.
Good evening, Commissioner Lyons.
Commissioners,
Automatic voice message system 203450503 is not available. At the tone, please record your message.
based on the lieutenant's report on the minor changes that were required for those policies, I entertain a motion to approve the request.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Question.
I'll entertain a second, and then we'll have a question on the motion, if that's okay. Or if there's no second. All right, Commissioner Williams, I'm sorry, why don't you go ahead?
When I'm looking at these policies, Lieutenant Cotto, it says original date. When was this issued? There's nothing there. So again, when we, review these policies and procedure, those, I did notice you are putting the chief's name on those. So when I look at this, it looks like it's a new policy. But hearing you state that these are not new, the original date is not on these policies when they come before us. So that's kind of, when you're looking at it and reviewing it, I was reviewing it as a new policy. But now hearing it, it's stating that it was already in effect and you're just rewording the language. So those are just little, things that need to be really taken in consideration because it's key when you're reviewing this. So I'm looking at this as a new policy, not
So-
as rewording the policy.
So the policy is still in draft form. And when it's in draft form, I take out the dates, I take out the chief's name so that when I go to publish them, I know to put the new date in. I could tell you that the original date is 5/15/2018, which gives us 1 year and a little over a month. That's the original date of issue for both policies?
For both policies?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason why I do that is so that when I go to publish the policy, I actually put the new date in and not publish a policy with the old date. So-
Right, but the original dates, if I'm correct, stays the same. You're just
Yes.
reissuing it. Right, so
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. When you're bringing it to our attention, that original date should be on those policies.
I'll make a note of it and I'll try.
I hear what you're saying and logistically,
Yes.
but when you present a policy for us to either review or to approve, we have to know if it's a new policy or if it's an existing policy, just asking us to, approve it or with the changes.
Okay.
And so when I read these policies, I thought they were new policies being drafted.
Understood. I'll
Good point.
put the new, I'll keep the original date on there and I can delete the reissue date.
Right, because the reissue date won't take effect until we vote on it.
No, and it doesn't take effect until I publish it.
Well, I'm saying reissuing, those don't take effect until after we vote on it.
Correct.
So that's what I'm saying. Those, so yes, I understand that would be, blank, but the original, if it's already existing, we need those dates. Because it also, what if this policy just came in effect when the body cameras, like say 6 months ago? Then we would, revisit it and listen to what you're bringing to our attention. And normally like you said, the highlights would tell us what was changed in these policies. And if we have the old ones, we can compare them. But most times we're just getting these and then we look up on the old one, but I didn't look this one up because I thought it was a new policy.
Yeah, it was so much language, like reworking the paragraphs.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
most of the thing would have been highlighted in yellow. And I think it would have been more confusing to just give you a yellow piece of paper with, highlights everywhere.
Well, then put it, that would be perfect. Put it on yellow paper. No, thank you though.
No, thanks for your input. I'll make sure I make a note of it.
Thanks, Commissioner Williams.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion to approve has been made by Commissioner Diaz. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, motion's passed. Moving along, we have nothing under old business correspondence or letters of appreciation. We have nothing under widows' pensions. And we usually, Lieutenant, if it's noted through a moment of silence that officers have passed, usually on the same agenda, or at least occasionally, we see requests for a widow's pension. Is there any, is that in the works, or or if either of these officers or both have left a widow? You haven't seen any requests from either officer's widow?
So both the officers were the last, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, very good. Next item on the agenda is the city traffic engineer's report, and the items under 9A. We have two handicap parking requests that the recommendation from the city traffic engineer is to approve. I would entertain a motion to combine the two items under 9A and approve those requests. It's been moved by Commissioner Lyons, seconded by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, those items have been approved. The city traffic engineer is requesting the board not to approve the items under 9B, which is 1, installation of a handicap parking sign on 50 Garfield Avenue. The reasoning is there is a parking lot available to those tenants. Any discussion or questions on the request? And the other is a request for the installation of speed humps. It says speed hump sign on Fox Street. I'm assuming the request is actually for the speed humps. I guess they would come with a sign. And the reasoning from the city traffic engineer saying it's not warranted because the average speed on Fox Street is 31 miles per hour. It's a 25-mile-per-hour zone, which doesn't constitute something that is a crucial need for speed humps. And I would agree. We've gotten a few speed humps requests since the initial ones had been installed. They're very they're expensive, number one, and the city wouldn't be in a position to grant an overwhelmingly large amount of requests. And this particular one, at least in my opinion, is not something that should have been on the top of the list anyway. But does anybody have an issue with Commissioner Williams? You're muted, hon. There you
I
go.
just have a question. I'm not sure what those pictures were of.
To the package, and those are the pictures that she submitted in the original package.
Yeah, I was just like, what were the pictures for? I don't know what they were of, so that's why I just.
They were in her email that she sent for her request. I don't know. I figured maybe, someone that lived in the neighborhood might identify something and say that's Fox Street or something. I really don't know.
Okay.
I'm familiar with Fox Street. It's off of Fairfield Avenue. I would agree that it wouldn't be a priority when it comes to putting speed humps in. It's a side street.
Is that up at Fairfield?
Yes, just north of Fairfield Avenue. The across from Fox Street, across the intersection is Gilman Street. If you're heading towards Fairfield on Fairfield Avenue, it would be one of the traffic lights on the right-hand side.
Okay.
There's a restaurant across the street, and there's a Quarter Board Row, which are some of the smaller stores and whatnot. But
okay,
anyhow. With that being said, entertain a motion to combine the two items under 9B and approve or accept the report of the city traffic engineer, which is not to approve those requests. It's been moved by Commissioner Williams. Is there a second?
I can't hear them at all. And no matter.
Seconded by Commissioner Diaz. All those in favor? Are there any opposed? Okay. The request from the city traffic engineer, the recommendation has been granted. Do we have anything else this evening, folks?
No, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Entertain a motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, Commissioner Williams.
we had one from last time. What we we tabled. I think it was Bishop Avenue, 520 Bishop Avenue.
Well, could be right. I wasn't here for that.
Okay.
But if that was, that could have been in the minutes. That is something, Lieutenant Cotto, that should have been back on the agenda.
I will do some research. And see.
And we have
What
requested,
Dawn's telling me to do is not working.
We
We
can
have
put it
to-
on for next month's meeting.
yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams.
Terry, you're on the ball tonight. Unless there's anything else, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay.